Okay, look at this. It's just a plain white sheet of paper, right? Nothing else. And now, let me just make a small change. Now what do you see? This red dot, right? This is the same white sheet of paper. There is so much white space around, but all your mind can focus on is this red dot, which is really bothering you. Now imagine this white sheet of paper is your life. You're trying to keep it as spotless, as clean, as stress-free as possible. And imagine that this red dot is someone in your family trying to stop you from moving ahead in your life.
No! God, please, no!
And no matter what you do, you can't erase this red dot. And that's pretty much the soul of this new Malayalam film that I watched on Sony LIV, Appan, directed by Maju. Just like that white sheet of paper, I went into this movie knowing absolutely nothing about this film. So I want you to experience this the same way. I'm going to try to avoid any kind of spoilers as much as possible. I don't know if it's because of popular cinema or because humans are wired a certain way, but our fathers are supposed to be our heroes, right? They're supposed to be the role models that we look up to, our providers and protectors who we are supposed to become like, taking care of our family against all odds. But in reality, unfortunately, only some of the fathers actually become heroes, whereas most others are either comedians trying to become heroes, side characters, special appearances, or villains. Now imagine the worst villain that you've ever seen and multiply that into 100. And a step above that is the father character in this film. Itty, played by Alencier Ley Lopez. He's a villain who doesn't even have to move from his own place to inflict damage on the people around him. From the first shot, we get to see that Itty is paralyzed from the waist down. He's bedridden, and the rest of his family, including his helpless son Noon, is supposed to take care of him. And especially in our Indian society, this is something that all of us do at some point in our life, right? We are extremely close to our parents, and when they grow old, we're supposed to take care of them just like they did when we used to be young. This is our responsibility, our duty to our parents. But what if this parent that we're trying to take care of is just a horrible person, a devil in disguise, a pure villain, like I said before? Should we still take care of them? Should we get someone else to take care of them? And if we don't take care of them, do we also become these horrible, ungrateful people ourselves? This is that moral dilemma, that uncomfortable topic that we as Indians try to avoid as much as possible. And it's this topic that this film talks about so beautifully, so hauntingly, as a family drama under the gift wrapper of a dark comedy. Apart from the topic and the way that it's told so explicitly, what's most interesting is that the story is told in a single location, within the four walls of a house and a rubber plantation right behind the house. And I feel that only Malayalam cinema can pull off such a film. Okay, don't get me wrong, I know there are so many films from other industries that are set mostly in a single location. Con, Badla, Trapped, Otta Sirappu Size 7, most of Beast, Pungavanam. But most of these single locations from other industries are thrillers. Even in the West, it's a common trope to set a thriller confined to a single location. But in Malayalam cinema, I don't know whether it's because of budget restrictions or the nature of the story itself. Since decades, we've seen pure dramas told in a single place. From films like Padmarajan's Mohanlal starrer Namakku Parkan Mundri Thopugal from 1986, which is set in neighboring houses divided by a single wall, to Adur Gopalakrishnan's Mammootty starrer Madalagal, which literally means walls, set within the walls of a prison. Another recent film which is set in another kind of prison is Jio Baby's The Great Indian Kitchen, starring Nimisha Sajayan. Without relying on common thriller tropes, these films are mostly family dramas, relationship dramas, or character studies, which are driven through conversations and interpersonal dynamics between those characters. And it's only because of the superlative writing of these films that sustains the interest of an audience, because it is so easy to set a film in a single location and it turns out to be monotonous, heavy, sometimes even laggy. But here, just like the other films that I mentioned, Appan just grabs you from the first shot, keeps you invested in the drama, rarely ever lags in the narrative, and just when you think that the film is starting to lose a bit of its hold over you, the entry of this new character just shakes things up. It raises the stakes and it keeps you guessing what's going to happen until the very end. Every actor's performance here is absolutely on point, especially Alencier Lopez, who's gonna haunt me in my nightmares now. But the biggest, most pleasant surprise was Sunny Wayne. From my limited awareness, I have seen quite a few tweets complaining about about the performance of Sunny Wayne over the last few years, and I personally remember his performance only from this film called Saras, which came out I think couple of years ago. And in that film, I thought he did what was required of him, but here he just nails it as this helpless, dutiful son who's caught in this moral dilemma, trying to resolve the conflict between what his mind says and what his heart is saying. There are just maybe 2 scenes where he tends to go in a slight melodramatic mode, but the rest of his performance is actually pretty great. There's this particular scene where his own son tells him something that really catches him off guard, and the expression that he has on his face really captures, it makes us feel his state of mind. Apart from being emotionally engaging, this film is such a strange cocktail which can make you angry at the antagonist, uncomfortable seeing what the other characters are going through, tense about what's going to happen in the end, but also grateful for the characters that you have in your own life. Hopefully, it's going to make you look at your own parents in a brand new light and thankful for what you have. I don't think too many people are talking about this film, so please go to Sony LIV, check this film out, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.